see for moving forward.
Thank you very much. How much time do I have before?
5 minutes.
Okay, I'm watching the clock. All right, thank you very much, and thank you all for being here this evening. This last couple of years, of course, have been pretty tough on communities all around the country, and that has had impacts on governance at every level, and certainly at the local government level. Things have been fairly difficult, in some places extremely so. Here in Arlington, we have fared much better. We have been able to, throughout this time, even though unemployment, for instance, is much higher now than it was 4 or 5 years ago, a lot higher than it was. It is still lower here than it is pretty much everywhere else. Everywhere in this region, everywhere in the state. Our employment level is better, our office vacancy rates are lower, and the real base of the local revenue base, of course, is real estate, and our real estate values have held better than pretty much any place else. Now, I say all this, not to boast, but because it is important to understand that those facts are not accidents. They're not just good luck. We're undoubtedly fortunate in a number of ways, but it isn't just good luck. A lot of the things that work in our favor here work in favor of a lot of other jurisdictions around here too that don't have the same record. The reason we're doing very well, even in difficult times, has to do with many years of work in this community, planning what we do, designing our community in a certain way, and investing in it year after year. We're intentional about what we do in government in Arlington, and we have been for a long time. And we're persistent about what we do, and that we keep doing the things that need to be done. When times are good, we're thinking about what's going to happen when things turn down. And when times aren't good, we're also anticipating the fact that they will turn around again, and you'll have a different set of problems. And we're trying to prepare for that. And we're inclusive about the way we do it. That in everything we do, we try to involve the community as much as possible to have as much engagement, participation from our community, and actually producing what this community is. That, I think, is the key to our community being a place that people are talking about in a lot of ways with envy. Now, it's important not to get smug about that, not to think that, well, everything's great here because it's a very dynamic world, very dynamic environment, and all the work you did to get to a position like this, you have to keep doing. You have to keep applying those methods if you want to stay where you are. And that's what we're going to do in 2011. We have a number of things that are underway that we're going to be working on, some of which have been started some years back and will be bringing to conclusion this year. Some things have been started before and we won't be done with them this year, but we're going to do a lot of work on them. And then there's some new things we're going to start as well. But they're all basically around that same idea, that we have to keep thinking about how we design this community, about the things we put into it, about the kind of services we provide. We have to continue to invest in that, and we have to continue to involve everybody in doing that. So, there are a few specific things I'll mention. There are many, but I won't go through all the ones that I listed on Saturday if you happen to be at the meeting. But I will note a few things that we're going to do. I mean, one example of something that we're going to be wrapping up, we've been working at for a while, is the streets element of the Master Transportation Plan, which is really our commitment to complete streets, which has a lot to do with our whole approach to being a walkable community. Another thing that we are going to be working on that we started last year was the community energy plan that Jay has been leading on, and we're going to be bringing a plan forward to the board and then thinking about the next step and how we implement there. Then there is something that I'm planning to spend a lot of time on this year, and that's the Columbia Pike Land Use and Housing Study, which we've been working on for a while, and we won't be done by the end of the year. Our target date is early 2012, but this year we have to make real progress, and this is important both in designing the kind of place we want Columbia Pike to be as a main street, in meeting environmental goals, livability goals, serving the community, but also planning so that we can preserve the kind of community we want to be and ensure that there's housing available for everybody, so that the kind of diversity that is part of what makes Columbia Pike such a great place and why so many of us live there, want to be there, is something that we can continue on into the future. So that's one fairly significant effort that I'm personally looking forward to working on a lot. I also talked on Saturday about a new initiative aimed at dealing with some of the issues that small businesses face in Arlington. Small businesses obviously have a tough time in this kind of economy all over the place. As I said on Saturday, we depend a lot on small business, not just because they obviously create jobs, they provide services,